We spent all night making it. We were super excited, and it was just, oh, it was the best. I think I ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for school lunch for probably about a month until it was all gone.
From the blog Random Sweets, I'm Stacy Mergenthal, and this is Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens, a show for people who embrace the warm and cozy spirit of everyday living in the northern Midwest. And my guest today has lived all 21 years of her life in South Dakota. Sydney Andera is a thoughtful and very hardworking young lady who loves her family, her 2 dogs, and her boyfriend Sajan of nearly 4 years, who is also known to me as my son. In addition to working 2 jobs, Sydney is also considering going to college for a career in the dental industry. Today on the show, Sydney talks about who inspired her to make homemade strawberry apricot jam, her favorite flavor of birthday cake since she doesn't like chocolate, the meal she likes most that her mom Michelle makes, her grandma Naomi's broiled Parmesan potatoes, and yeah, it involves butter, and a barbecue joint and a donut shop that she and Sajan enjoyed on a recent trip they took to Colorado. All that, plus a funny story about how Sydney broke her electric hand mixer on today's episode of Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens. Sydney Andera, welcome to Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens.
Hello.
You're here.
I am.
You've listened to probably almost every episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yo.
Which I think is really sweet. Okay, so first we'll say we have a couple of feline. We don't have feline. We have canine guests. We have Rowdy and we have Castaway with us today. So the little pitter patter and the growling, they're just wandering around, and we're just gonna let them be. So you might hear them in the background, and we're okay with that, right?
I'm fine with it if you are.
Rowdy kind of woke up from his nap, and he's wandering around looking for Sajan, you said. So
Yeah.
he's and then Castaway, of course. Oh, we just had Castaway at our house a couple weeks ago. We dog sat him for a few days, and he's so funny. Is he a Frenchie?
Yeah, French Bulldog.
A French
yep.
Bulldog. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He just turned 6.
Oh, he is that old. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And Castaway is, I mean Rowdy.
Rowdy, he is a Yorkie.
Really
a
super
Yorkshire
tiny.
Terrier, I
Okay.
think is what, yeah.
Okay. And very old. Very, very old.
Yeah, he just turned 16, so yeah, there's
16.
10-year difference between the two.
And a few years ago, he got hit by a car. And he is just a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And Sajan him and Ashton got him back to life, and he's doing okay, so.
Yeah, he's been kicking. He's still wandering, putzing around, enjoying his days, taking naps.
Oh, yeah, just like I want to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Sydney, I'm glad that you are on a podcast. We talk about a lot of different things, and I always say, you need to be on the podcast. So we worked it out today, and you're here. Just tell us a little bit about your family and where you're from, and the fact that you are my son Sajan's girlfriend of 3.5 years, is it? How many years is it now?
Yeah, 3.5, gonna be 4 in October.
In October,
Yep.
okay. And we love having you as part of the family.
I
It's
love having you guys.
great.
You guys
Oh.
are so sweet.
So tell us about your family.
I have 2 sisters and obviously a mother and a dad. My dad lives in Chamberlain, so I've kind of switched between Brookings and Chamberlain for most of my life. My sisters kind of follow the same, go back and forth. My youngest sister, Kenna, she just graduated this May here, so we're all out of school now.
Yeah. And your high school graduation was in the middle of COVID.
Yup, 2020.
Yeah.
The funnest year of all. And yeah, Riley, she's my middle sister. She's going to be moving to Ohio here soon, so it'll be kind of nice to see where that goes and how she likes that. So, yeah.
And so you and Sajan, you live just south of Brookings here, and your mom lives in Brookings, so you
Yes.
get to see her quite a bit.
Yeah.
And right now your sisters are in Brookings, but that will change then.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to Chamberlain. sometimes.
Yep, yeah. My father still lives in Chamberlain along with most of his side of the family, so I go out there a lot just to say hi, obviously.
Right.
Get down with the family.
Yeah, yeah. Do you go on the river at all when you're out there? Or?
Yeah. My dad has a boat. He loves to take us out, whether, we're tubing or fishing or anything like that. We love being on the river.
All right. Well, so then it would be really cool if you and Sagen sometime could come with us when we go up to Betsy and Russell's on the river.
Yeah.
That is a blast.
I would very much enjoy that. I love being on the river. It's
you already know what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, and then you just finished up. So we've been talking about this, and I said, let's record after fireworks because you and Sagen work at one of the biggest fireworks the biggest fireworks store that Sagan's dad owns. And so you guys are kind of pros at the fireworks by now.
Oh, goodness. I don't want to be listed as a pro yet.
Sagen is, I know, but he's had all his life pretty much working there. And
no, this year was fun. A little different than the other years. Pretty steady throughout the whole year. There wasn't like a big pickup to it, but it was really fun. It's always enjoyable to be out there.
Good.
Yeah.
And you do you have, 10 days in South Dakota that you can sell to in-state, so you're real busy, people coming in and out for, is it 10 days?
Yep,
okay.
10 days.
And you had just gotten back from Colorado the day before that. I mean, you guys took a quick trip for a wedding, and we're going to talk about that because I want you to tell me about a barbecue place you ate at and a bakery or donut shop. So, but first I want to talk about this, was it strawberry apricot jam? And is it jam or jelly?
It is jam.
It is jam, okay. So I want to talk about this because I picked Sagen up a couple weeks ago. We went to an ear doctor appointment, and he says, I was supposed to give you a jar of this jam that Sydney made, and he had forgotten it. So the next time I had stopped over, he had this jar, and this was the second batch that you had made.
Yeah.
And I just tried it this morning because I love jelly and jam. I eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly toast, and I make myself get through one jar of jelly before I open another one.
Yeah.
And so Jason and I split a piece of toast with just the jam and butter.
Yeah.
And it is so good. He loves it too. And he loves apricot, like apricot jello and apricot. So I want to talk all things about this because I want to know if you've made it before, what inspired you to make this jam. You're young. I mean, I don't know of very many young people who are just off making their own jam. So tell us what it is, why you made it, what recipe you did, the method. I think on the second batch, Sagen said that you went and picked strawberries from Sanderson Gardens, which I love that too. Yep. So just tell me everything about it.
Sure. So my dad is originally who had taught me how to can and how to make jam. My Grandma Laria, she was all into that because she'd make pickled asparagus, anything and everything. She was super into canning. And so he kind of picked up on some of that, and he started making a lot of his own jam and jelly. And obviously with us three girls being around the house, we were all at different stations doing what we needed to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been pretty familiar with it for most of my childhood. And the favorite one of mine that my dad made was the strawberry apricot jam.
Okay.
And we only made a small batch because we went to one of his friend's house and we picked apricots from the tree. And so we had fresh...
Your dad's?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Somebody in South Dakota has apricots growing on a tree? Okay.
In Chamberlain, yep. One of his friends had it, and he had too many, so he invited us over to come pick and use what was left. And so we spent all night making it. We were super excited, and it was just, it was the best. I think I ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for school lunch for probably about a month until it was all gone. So he's never made another batch after that, so... Once we got our own working oven and stove, I really, really wanted to test it out and try it and see if I can mimic something close to it. So good. And the first one that I made, I had used just apricots and strawberry jello.
Oh, okay.
And then the second batch that I made was with the strawberries that I picked from Sanderson's.
Okay.
So I did, the second one was with real fruit on both ends. And then the first one was with jello. I don't know. I feel like I like both. I definitely think I like the Sanderson strawberry one a little bit better, but from what I remember, it was like 5 pounds of fruit is what we normally did for the smaller batches, and then it was 7 cups of sugar to the 5 pounds of fruit.
And that's 5 pounds of combined apricots and the strawberries. Okay.
Yeah, I try to get as close as I can, splitting it in half, but obviously sometimes it falls one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And then you do the 1 case of pectin. If you can get liquid pectin, it's better, but I just use plain, like the dry pectin, the crystal pectin. And then, I think, is it a few tablespoons of lemon juice? Yeah, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then half a teaspoon of butter. And bring it all to a boil. You can put it on a high heat on your stove, bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, just add in a cup of sugar. It'll be 7 cups in total if you're doing the 5 pounds, and you can double the recipe too if you want. Okay. And just stir in cup by cup, and then let that boil for like a minute or 2 more, and then you can start jarring it. Leave a 1/4-inch headspace. And your jars need to be sanitized beforehand. So normally I just have them in a pot of boiling water beforehand, lids and jars. Take them out one by one, fill them up on a tray, put the lids, the flat lid and the screw-on lid, and twist them on as tight as you can and throw them back in that boiling water for 10 minutes.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, is how do you get that? I know there's a method and to keep the safety of everything for canning. Yeah. And so that's how you get the lid to snap down and seal then, is by putting it back into that water for 10 minutes.
Yep. When you take them out, the lids will start popping. And that way you know you got the seal. And you can, just by looking at it, you can see if the seal is popped or not.
Yeah, I can tell that
you should be able to hear most of them popping like off and on. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And so Jason had asked me early on when I said, we got this jam to try. And he said, I wonder if she does because back in the day when we can remember our parents or his grandparents, his grandma did a lot of canning. You used to have to put this wax on the top.
Yep, golf wax.
Is that what it was? When you were a kid, that wasn't even a thing at that point? Because, I mean, we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that my dad had some. We had never used any for when we canned together. Mm-hmm. But I did see that he had, like, a big block of wax that he had. And I'm assuming it's probably for the seal of some sort, but I don't necessarily know.
So the recipe, you just went by memory then? Or did you talk to your dad and say, how'd you do this? Or how did you just... I'm just so amazed.
Some of it's a little bit from memory because we made so much choke cherry and mulberry jam as kids. Yeah, we went foraging for choke cherries. We had a mulberry tree in our backyard. We did asparagus. We went hunting for asparagus, so it was always fun, a trip with my dad.
So you've done all the Midwest things. Yeah. The asparagus and the choke cherries and
Yeah, no. So it's a little bit of both. I did talk to my dad before I made it to see if he really had like a strict recipe that he followed. He didn't really say there was anything super strict to it besides that. Yeah, he thought that batch that he made was made with strawberry jello. So I tried one of each.
Okay. I know what I was going to ask, the lemon juice. So what I have read is that the lemon juice you're supposed to use is from the squeeze can, the little squeeze bottle that you get in the produce section, because of whatever the acidity level, the pH, the something. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong and somebody's rolling their eyes at me, but whatever's in the squeeze bottle is an exact science of what you need to have when you're canning in those jams and jellies, whereas a fresh lemon isn't always exact the same.
Sure.
And in an earlier episode, I think when we were doing daiquiris with Leah, and I was like, never, 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 don't ever buy the little plastic squeeze lemon juice and lime, but it sounds like there is a use for them. Yeah. Because you're using the bottled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And I don't know the exact science either, but I was told to always use, I think it was like the real lemon is what my dad always got. Yeah. Ball with the little ball weird shape in lemon jar, but but I was always told to use that. So
because it has what it's supposed to have in order to do the preserving. Who knows, but I want to give it a try. So I'm trying to think what size, how many jars did you get out of that one batch that you did with 5 pounds of fruit, 7 cups of sugar?
Yeah, the first batch that I did was a little less. I think I got like 10 jars out of it, and the second batch was like a 10 or 11, I think. So I only got a few jars, but
I like that smaller amount. I'm always
Yeah.
thinking it's such a huge project and a huge endeavor, but I like that it just gives you a little bit of small. Were they 8-ounce jars? 12 ounce? And they're shelf stable.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
don't have to refrigerate them because you've done your sealing.
Mm-hmm.
We have all the things that we need. I'm a jar fanatic. I have way too many canning jars. Well, the 4-ounce ones, I think I have 3 or 4. I think I have 400 and some of the
wow.
mini 4-ounce jars.
Wow.
Because I was doing a lot of baking and weddings, and then people would use those. And then when Renee, who owns Hitch Studio, when she got married, she wanted s'mores cheesecakes in the jars. So she purchased the jars and then donated them back to me, and she had like 300 and some.
Oh, wow.
So those on top of the ones I already had that
Yeah.
I've done for some fundraising events, some galas. I have a lot of the mini jars.
Stockpiling them.
4 ounce is kind of small for jelly. I'm sure you probably want a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah,
but
that was the original jar size that my dad made when he had made that
4-ounce?
first batch.
Okay.
Yeah, they were 4-ounce jars, but
Well, that size would make great gifts too, to give
yeah.
somebody a little jar. And
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna have to try it, and hopefully it's as good as yours because it's really good.
Yeah.
What do you usually eat your jelly on? Just peanut butter and jelly? Do you do English muffins? Do you put it on biscuits? Anything special?
Pretty much just toast, just
On your toast?
jelly on my toast.
Do you do peanut
So
butter and
good.
jelly or just jelly on your toast?
I'll do a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but if it's toast, just the jelly.
Oh, okay. Do you put butter on it first?
I have not. No, I've heard and seen people do it, but I've never did the butter first. Before the jam.
Well, the thing is, when you go to a restaurant, one day I was like, how come toast with just jelly is so much better at a restaurant? Well, it's because they butter the toast before they bring it out to you.
Sure.
And
Okay.
then you put on the jelly. And so at home now I started putting butter on. But if I'm having peanut butter and jelly toast, I don't put butter. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So good. Well, we'll have to give it a try, and I can share that recipe on the blog on randomsweets.com, and then I can give it a try too.
And it pretty much works for almost any fruit, and you can kind of change it to how you like if you want to tweak it a little bit. But for the most part, it works with most fruit.
So if somebody wanted to do, say, strawberry chokecherry, it's really just that you have to have 5 pounds of fruit, no matter what kind of fruit.
Yeah, even if you just want to do straight strawberries.
Or strawberry
it's
rhubarb.
Yep.
Apricot. Jason likes apricot, so maybe I'll even just try straight up apricot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's a lot of apricots to have to buy from the store. I don't have anybody who's growing them around me.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, so I said you guys just got back from Colorado. Where did you guys go again? It was near Denver, but...
Yeah, we were in Broomfield, Colorado. So it was right in between kind of like Boulder, Colorado, Denver, Colorado area.
Okay, so it's a suburb, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
For a cousin's wedding out there on your dad's side?
Yep.
Right? Okay. Mm-hmm. And one day Sagen texted me, we just ate at this barbecue place, and so I went and looked it up online, and I'm looking at the menu and the pictures, and it looks so good, and they have a section where they have recipes, and they actually do a lot of them as YouTube videos. So I was like, oh, I got to keep this website because it looks really good. What is the place again?
I believe it was called GQ Barbecue.
Okay.
And I don't know, it was kind of a spur of a moment thing. He said that he saw it online before we had come down there, and it looked good. We didn't know what we wanted to eat, and we were still kind of waiting around for my dad to finish golfing.
Oh, okay.
So we just went there and kind of got something quick. I think we all ordered a sandwich or so. I think I got brisket, Sage got pulled pork. We loved both of them. I got mac and cheese. Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, he just got fries. Really fine, but we split both of them, so we both had enough of our share.
Sure. Well, he definitely liked it. I mean, he liked it enough to send something to me while you guys were out there, because otherwise he probably wouldn't have really said anything.
Yeah.
And it looked like they had a couple of locations, maybe.
Sure.
And yeah, you're right. It was like GQ And I can't really remember how it was spelled either, but I can link to it in the show notes. So if people want to find it.
I think that one was a little outside of Broomfield. I think it was like another little suburb around there, but
okay.
It was pretty close. It was on the way home. I do know that.
Let's talk about donuts.
Oh my goodness.
when Sage and I, when we were headed to that ear appointment, and then he said that you guys were going to Colorado and everything, I said, because I know Sage loves a good donut. Mm-hmm. And I said, somebody told me about Voodoo Donuts because on National Donut Day, I asked people, where do you get your best donuts? And then 2 different people told me about Voodoo Donuts in Colorado. And I don't remember if that was the one where maybe there's one location in the airport out there. And then another. I can't remember if I'm right or wrong. I mean, I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. But you guys had heard about it too, and you went there. So was it good?
It was so good. Parking was a little tricky because I don't know if it was exactly their main street, but it was around kind of the downtown area in there. So we had to like pay at a meter and everything, but we got pretty close and it was so good. You just wait in a line. There's a menu on the counter where you pay at of what you want. And they just had racks on racks of donuts ready. You just pick out what you want and they put it all in a box and you're set sail. They have original cake donuts. They have like the fancy ones that are all decorated cute and everything. And yeah, everything was pink. It was so awesome.
And so there were probably a lot of people there. You guys were there on a weekend. I'm guessing it must be a popular place around there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, but the line went really quick. It wasn't like we were waiting super, super long for anything. It rotated out really quickly.
Okay. And I think you're the one that sent me a picture of the box of donuts. Did I see one that had the bacon on it?
Yes, that was mine. And the clerk had told me when I got it, he's like, they just got pulled out and just iced. So he's like, eat it as fast as you can. It's so good when it's like fresh like that. And yeah, immediately when we got to the car, I pulled it apart. And oh my God, it was so good. The icing was still setting up and everything. Oh, it was so good.
Was it maple? Maple with bacon?
Yeah, maple, and then they had bacon on top of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Did it have any filling? It was kind of like a Long John, but it was no filling, or?
Yeah, it was a Long John, but there wasn't any filling in it.
Okay. Do you remember what Sagen had?
He had got another maple donut as well. It was one that was decorated, but it was a maple donut aside. And then I got a pink Homer donut, and I think he got a chocolate one, maybe.
What's that?
It's like the Simpsons pink donut. They pretty much replicated it, and it's just like a big old donut with the strawberry icing and sprinkles on it. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was cute, so I just had to grab it.
That sounds like if you guys are ever in the cities, there's a fun place called Glam Doll Donuts.
Sure. And
they have kind of all that fun little quirky, I mean, the original things, but also the fun things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Sagen tells me that you don't like pizza.
No.
Now, if anybody listens to all these episodes, if they listen to the one with Sagen, my son Sagen, he talked about how you don't really like pizza. He thinks it's the red sauce that you don't like. And how, as you were growing up, every birthday party that you went to, so it makes you think now, right? All the birthday parties that you go to, everybody orders pizza because they think every kid loves pizza. Or sporting things. So like when Sagen was in hockey and we would have family events, we'd order pizza. So what did you do? You just didn't get to eat.
Yeah, it kind of got to the point where I kind of had like a backup lunch case with me, just because I kind of assumed at that point everybody's eating the pizza for dinner and chocolate cake for dessert, and so I don't really fancy either of those things.
That's right. You don't like chocolate either.
So yeah, birthday parties were kind of a double whammy for me, but it's not what we're there for, right?
Right. So what would you serve at your birthday parties?
My birthday parties, I guess it was more just kind of like a cookout style.
Okay.
My dad, we didn't really celebrate our birthdays, so we didn't do much for them. But here at my mom's, we've always kind of had like a little cookout get-together thing. Sometimes recently, now that we're all not in the same household, we go out to eat and have dinner somewhere.
Not pizza.
No, not pizza. It's usually like Italian or something along those lines.
And so most people like cake. birthday cake. They've grown up on birthday cake. So do you do cake, but just not chocolate?
Yes, yeah. My personal favorite is strawberry cake.
Oh.
I don't know. I know not a lot of people fancy it, but I've loved strawberry cake ever since I was a kid, so that's probably my favorite. But other than that,
Okay.
any white cake is fine.
Do you have a favorite strawberry cake recipe, or does your mom have one that
No, we just use the box cake mix. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I found, I think it was last year or the year before, it's basically a strawberry pound cake recipe, and then there's a icing on top, and that also has strawberries in it.
Sure.
So you're using real strawberries in the cake and real strawberries in the icing, and it is so incredible that when I picked strawberries from Sanderson Gardens, I froze and packaged them in the measurements that I need to make that cake.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I found it on somebody's blog.
I do have some strawberries still in the freezer, so I might have
maybe
to try that.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the pizza. So my friend Jill, she said to me then after she heard Sagen talking about how you don't really like the red sauce, she said, has she ever had white pizza? So now Jill lives out on the East Coast. She's in Rochester, New York. And so when she said white pizza, of course, I'm thinking back here we put a white Alfredo sauce or something in chicken. And I asked if that's what she meant. And she said, no, I'm going to look it up here real quick. Because she said, I'm talking about the sauce that we get. And they buy, the brand that she buys is Beano's. It's been around forever, I guess. And it's a classical white pizza sauce with oregano. But the ingredients are just showing like a soybean oil and then garlic and salt and some spices and flavorings. It kind of just looks like an olive oil and there's seasonings. Sure. But she said that's kind of how they do their pizza out there.
Yeah.
Without the red sauce. So I'll have to get one of those for you. And that way when Sajan's making homemade crust for his pizza, you can have part on your side.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try.
Mm-hmm. Do you like meats on it?
Normally, most places I go to, they really, even if they have it, is like a chicken Alfredo pizza. So that's really all that I've tried. Most people don't branch out more from that. So I've had a few of them, like 2 or 3. Otherwise, when I go to Granite City, they do like a barbecue chicken flatbread.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Onions and cilantro on it, and I really enjoy that. So
yeah,
I've pretty much figured that it's probably the red sauce that I'm not really fancying because I've tried a few of the white Alfredo sauce with the chicken, and then that barbecue chicken as well.
So, what about the spaghetti bake? Sagen will make that. That's got red sauce in it, so that's probably not one of your favorite things either then.
Well, it kind of just depends. I feel like it is just the pizza sauce. I am a little picky just in red sauce and in general. More than not, I'll like that vodka pasta. I really enjoyed that as well. I've been making that a lot ever since I listened to that episode with Kalani, so I enjoy that a lot. I feel like, I don't know, it's just kind of a touch and go thing.
Then. Do you eat spaghetti? Do you like spaghetti or no?
I will eat spaghetti. I don't mind it. Obviously, it's not like my favorite thing to have all the time, but I do like that beer chili spaghetti that you make along with the spaghetti bake. I actually did enjoy that a lot. I just have Sagen put the mini pepperonis on top, just on one side.
Okay. Because that beer chili spaghetti, all you're using for tomato in there is 1 little can of tomato sauce. Otherwise, it's beer. Yeah. Did Sagen ever make you the ice cream dessert? You should try that, though, because when he was talking about doing it instead of the brownie crust and the chip and mint ice cream, because that's all chocolate. And then we kind of came up with the other ideas of doing a different base and then a caramel ice cream or coffee ice cream with caramel sauce, and that would be really good.
I know. I was telling him about it the one night. I was like, we do have to try it. We need to get a little bit more freezer room, but we do need to try it.
True. Yeah. Well, what other? So if your mom, if she was going to say, Sydney, I'll make you whatever you want, what's one of the favorite meals that your mom makes for you?
Stuffed shells would probably be the one thing that I would request from her.
Stuffed shells.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're like jumbo shells,
yeah.
like the macaroni shells. They're just jumbo, and they're probably about the size, kind of around a small fist. And it's just actually that has marinara in it too. Now that I think of it.
I was gonna say. So now, what kind of sauce and what are you putting on the inside?
Yeah, it's like
a meat mixture.
Traditional marinara sauce, and then just some pound of ground beef. And when I make it at home, I use cottage cheese in my half, just like my mom, but Sajan doesn't fancy cottage cheese, so I leave it out for him.
Oh, yeah, I don't think his mom ever introduced that to him. Shame on her.
No, you're fine.
Because I like cottage cheese, and I like it in my lasagna when I make lasagna and things.
Sure,
so when you're putting it in your pasta, okay.
Mm-hmm. And
he just didn't know it was in there.
Sure, really?
He was eating lasagna I was making. He didn't know there was cottage cheese in there.
Okay.
He liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you usually don't tell your kids you're putting like sour cream in something.
Yeah,
cottage
no.
cheese because they are going to think it's gross. So you just do it and you don't tell them.
Yeah. No, I've kind of been thinking about maybe trying out ricotta, if that'd be something he'd like a little bit better than cottage cheese, but...
And I mix cottage cheese and ricotta.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
white cheese in there, the saucy. And I also mix a little Alfredo sauce in with my pasta sauce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so I will mix cottage cheese and ricotta and the egg. And then a little bit of Parmesan sometimes in that. And that's my mixture. So you could actually try both.
Yeah.
So you're putting that inside the shells?
Yep. So I make like one big combined mixture for all of that. And then obviously salt, pepper, season it with Italian seasoning. And then I just take a spoonful and just spoon them into the shells. Arrange them in like a 9x13 pan, a baking dish, and then just sprinkle them with cheese and throw them in the oven till everything's like warm.
Right.
Since everything's pre-cooked already. It's just to your liking how you want them.
Yum. I love pasta dishes. I like red sauce. I like white sauce. Just no mushrooms.
Yeah,
Do you do mushrooms?
I can agree with that. I'm not a mushroom gal, no.
So what about tomatoes? So we're talking about red sauce. Do you do chunks of tomatoes?
Yeah, I'm fine with like anything else really tomatoey. I'm fine with chunks of tomatoes, salsa, pico de gallo, chili, anything like that. I'm completely okay with. But once you get to the pizza sauce, I'm just not a fan.
So that's the meal that you'd have your mom make for you?
Oh,
the shells?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you'd have her do?
I don't know if I'd eat it along with the stuffed shells. It'd be a hearty dinner, but my grandma, my mother's mom, Grandma McClurg, she makes Parmesan potatoes, and they're super, super simple. They're just the red potatoes cut in half or quartered. And then you just melt like a stick of butter. It's definitely not healthy at all. So if you're on a diet, stay away from this. But it's just a bunch of the grated Parmesan and butter into like a mixture till it looks like applesauce. And you just drizzle it over potatoes that are quartered or halved. And then you just throw it in the oven with a broil setting. And they're so good.
So wait, are those potatoes cooked yet? Or she's halving them and then pouring the stuff on it and then baking it, and that's when they're baking?
They'll bake in the oven.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is one thing I know about you, is that you love potatoes.
I
and I love that you love potatoes because so do I.
Yeah, I don't think you could mess up a potato to where I wouldn't eat it. I love potatoes.
Yeah. Homemade mashed potatoes and gravy. I was thinking about you last night because I made homemade mashed potatoes. The gravy is not typically homemade, just when we're doing like just a regular night making chicken and homemade mashed potatoes. A lot of times I'm just doing the season or the packet for gravy. And Jason probably would go without gravy. He probably would just be fine with some butter or something, but I like gravy on it.
Yeah, gravy's a nice touch. I don't necessarily need it, but I'll use it when it's there for sure.
Homemade gravy is definitely better, but if you don't have the juices or anything to make it, like just when you're like last night we just baked some chicken, well then I don't have any juices to make a gravy.
Yeah.
But I still love just using the yellow golds or Yukon golds. To me, they make the best mashed potatoes. And people say, oh, you're supposed to use the russets or I don't even know what. I just know the golds are not what people say to use for mashed potatoes. But those are my favorite.
Sure. I don't remember what potato I picked up one night. Oh, it was horrible. I don't even remember. I grabbed it and went. It was after work, and I came home to make mashed potatoes. And I broke the hand mixer because there was so much like starch in the potato.
Oh my gosh.
That the mashed potatoes wasn't really fluffy. It was like elasticy, and the hand mixer broke. So yeah, we had to get a new one of those, but we've worked it out. Only yellow or gold potatoes now go into mashed potatoes. Learn that lesson.
Yep. And the reds are good too. Jason likes the reds. And if you leave a little bit of the red skin, put a little garlic in there. So they're kind of the dirty mashed potatoes with garlic. And that's pretty good too. But I could eat potatoes every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good thing, but I could eat potatoes every day.
I could do the same.
Yep. So now you guys are in your new house, and I see you have a new grill out there, so you get to grill some foods, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I got Sajin just the tiny little, like 17 or 18-inch Blackstone griddle.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. So we have that now. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $40, so I went and grabbed that.
Whoa, girl, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of his gifts for his birthday, and so we've kind of been trying that out, testing that out. Haven't made a lot on it yet, but we did make some breakfast on it one morning. That was really good. And yeah, we had some smash burgers on it another night.
I was just gonna say, yeah, so
yeah,
there you go.
Thoroughly enjoying it.
Good. Wow, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
Man, we don't have one of those, but Callie's husband Josh, so my brother-in-law, he has a Blackstone, and he's made things at the house before. And then we went to where they parked their camper for the summer. We went out there last year, and he made some burgers, I think it was on there, and they were really good.
Yeah.
I really like that concept. And then I think, so Lindsay and Jesse has a Blackstone, and so we were just there for the 4th of July weekend at the lake. And I think a lot of times he's doing his breakfast on there, so he's making eggs and things on that. And this weekend he made, he makes the most amazing food.
Sure.
He did brisket one night, he had ribs, and so we had all this meat and all these things, and he's making fresh pico and guacamole and all this stuff, right? So the next morning he went and he had these fresh tortillas brought out the day before from a Mexican restaurant in Huasica.
Sure. Okay.
And he had their chips and salsa and their homemade tortillas. And so then the next morning we had those tortillas again. He warmed them up on the Blackstone, made some eggs, and then we had made the burritos with that leftover brisket.
Oh,
it was delicious.
Yeah. I could definitely fancy that.
Well, I want to go back here a minute. Which grandma did you say? So it was your dad's grandma. What was her name again? That was doing a lot of the pickling and jarring, canning.
Grandma Laria.
Laria? That's a different name. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
And so she would can a lot. Did you ever learn from her?
Unfortunately, no. She passed away when I was really young, just a few years old. So I didn't really get taught much from her, but I like to carry it on,
No kidding. Exactly. Yeah. She would be so proud. So happy to see that you're doing that. Yeah. I know Jason talks about his grandma on Lillian, I think on his dad's side, and how she would have every single thing canned, huge, shelves full of it. Yeah. We just don't do that as much nowadays.
No.
Things are so much more accessible. And I think our days are filled with so much other stuff, whereas it used to be that was kind of your job as a wife or a homemaker was having all these foods on the shelves. It wasn't running to the store and buying it all the time, especially if you had it growing on your land.
Oh, yeah. It's all going to go to waste if you don't prepare it and get it ready. Nobody can use that much produce.
Yeah. I see you have a little raspberry bush that you started.
Yeah, actually, there's a few left on there, but for the most part, it's quit blooming fruit. Yeah, producing fruit. I did get, I'd probably say like a handful of raspberries off of it, and my mom used some as well while we were in Colorado. I told her she could have free reign as long as she watches my plants.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Will you plant that out here somewhere then on your property?
Yeah, I think so. I was a little hesitant to plant it this year because I didn't really have any like kind of like a fencing to go around it since, we have lots of animals out here.
Yeah.
So I didn't want all of my fruit to just get eaten up the first year that I had it, so.
The deer would eat it. So the neighbors have chickens that kind of wander around. Do you ever get eggs from the neighbors? Or?
No, we don't. I've noticed that the other neighbor they've been friends since they've lived here. He goes and grabs them. I don't really feel the luxury that I need to go grab them, but I do know that they do give eggs out to others as well. So
okay.
But yeah, the chickens will wander around in here and they'll be in our backyard. Mm-hmm. When we first moved in here, not now, but they were on our front deck walking around one day when I got home from work. So yeah, most of the time they're just in the yard for the most part. Yeah, Castaway gets a little curious of them. He hasn't shown much interest in them. I think he's just confused as to what they are.
Sure. Well, good. Anything else you want to talk about on this episode? Because you'll be invited back.
Oh, goodness. Need anything for, like, animals? I know that people can, like, bake their own treats and stuff like that, so I've kind of been thinking about doing something along those lines for maybe Castaway or Rowdy someday. Baking their own treats or just anything like that.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I've done is dog treats.
Oh, so you have?
And I have, yeah.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, a couple years ago when I was doing bake sales and the pop-up bake sales and things, dog treats were something that I was making and they would sell out right away.
Sure, okay.
And it's a super easy recipe. You just have to make sure that you're usually using natural peanut butter.
Okay.
A peanut butter that doesn't have... Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of what ingredients, like xylitol, something like that, is in peanut butter, and it's very bad for dogs. They can't have it.
Yeah.
So the recipe is pumpkin.
Oh.
You just buy like a can of pumpkin puree.
Sure.
Or maybe you would roast a pumpkin. I have no idea. I don't go through all that work. So it's a can of pumpkin, and then you use a natural peanut butter that does not have that one ingredient.
Okay.
And maybe an egg and just a couple ingredients, but it's the rollout kind. So you're gonna roll them out. So I have a dog bone cookie cutter and then a little tiny dog bone cookie cutter.
Cute.
And I just make those.
Okay.
And it doesn't make a huge batch of dough, but once you start rolling it out, you get quite a few treats.
Yeah.
And so it's nice because like your dogs are little, and so taking just the little dog bone cookie cutter is a good size for them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could freeze them, so then you could just have some stuck away. But I'm thinking 4 or 5 ingredients is all it takes, so I can give that recipe to you. Sure. I know I told Katera that I want to do a podcast episode with her too, and of course her and her dogs and all of her animals that she loves and has, and the goats and everything. But I said one thing for sure we can talk about is homemade dog treats.
Oh, okay.
And so hopefully we'll talk about that. I don't know if she's made what she's made for her dogs, but it's just that one ingredient you have to stay away from in peanut butter that I know of. But otherwise it's good for them. And
yeah, I'll have to try that out. I'm kind of excited because, I've been kind of thinking about looking into it, trying to just make something for them, you know. I've noticed just around here in May, because both of them went up a year in age in May here, I was looking and I saw they had like birthday cake, like box mixes, just like a box cakes mix for dogs. And so I was kind of thinking about doing it, but I didn't know too much about it, so I didn't want to try it. But I was like, I did not realize that was a thing.
I didn't realize that's a thing either, but it makes sense because even at Hy-Vee, you go there and there's this whole section and a refrigerator, a cooler now that they're selling natural refrigerated foods for pets, for dogs. And you go to different places now and they have specifically things on the menu for the dog, or boutiques that are just for the dog, and they have the fresh baked things. Yep.
I think Sajan was saying that Mariah, she used to work at one of those dog boutiques.
She did.
And we used to get the cookies from them. They were so cute. And all of our dogs loved them.
Yeah, that, I can't think what the name of it is, but it's in Sioux Falls.
Shop Dog.
Shop Dog. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't been there for a long time, but it's definitely a cool place to check out. It's really cute.
So the cake mix, did you find that in the aisle that has like dog food and stuff? That's, I suppose, where it's at.
Yeah, I was at Lewis one day, and they had like little birthday cakes that you could get that were like just, I don't even know, like palm size, and they would just break it into pieces for like a reasonable size treat.
Okay.
And yeah, I just noticed that around that area there was a box cake mix for dogs, and you whip it up and put it in the oven and everything.
Where did I see they have like pup cups and it's ice cream? Is it the Dairy Queen, or we don't have dogs, so I don't really know, but there was somewhere where I saw they actually give them these cups that are ice cream, and then you take the top off and they just lick out of the cup.
Sure, yeah, we have some. I think they're like bacon and cheese flavored that we get from like Walmart or Hy-Vee in the ice cream section.
Oh, okay.
And there's like 4 or 8 of them that come in a package, and yeah, they're a little bit too big for our dogs, so we divide it between the 2 of them, but they like those. But yeah, like coffee places give out pup cups when you go through. Banks will give you little dog treats, like little milk bone dog treats when you go through. There's a lot of places that will give you treats or little trinkets for your dogs if they're with you in the car.
I've seen, I think at the Caribou drive-through at the coffee shop, there's a little canister or something there that has little dog treats or something at Caribou. And Castaway, he only gets a certain amount every day of food, right? Because you said he'll just eat forever if you just put a dish in front of him. So it's probably fun for him to get a little treat.
Yeah, he cannot free feed at all. It would be a disaster if he free fed.
He'd be a chunk. Yeah. His legs are already tiny little short stubs.
Oh,
He's
know.
so cute. I'll share a picture of him and Rowdy too on the blog post that goes with this.
Yeah, sure.
Fun. Everybody's got to see Castaway.
He's a goofy looking guy.
Oh, all right. Well, I think we can wrap it up. And anything else?
No, I'm excited to get both the pound cake recipe and the dog treat recipe for you.
Yeah.
And if we could find that white sauce from Rochester there around that area, that'd be interesting to try as well. So
I think I might like it too, even just on flatbread or something. So we'll get a couple bottles and give it a try. But thanks for coming on the show and sitting down with us today and sharing some of your and you'll have to come back because we need to talk about some desserts because you're not a chocolate person, and it's made me adjust a little bit. Like sometimes I'll think about, okay, we're having this family thing, and I realized how often I just naturally go to chocolate desserts. And when you're joining us, I'm like, well, what do we do? And so key lime pie has been a good one.
Oh, I love your key lime pie. It's so good.
Raspberry white chocolate cheesecake. I think you like that one, okay? Because it's a white chocolate and there's not a lot in it.
Yeah, I just didn't eat like the bottom crust, but by itself, so good. I'd never tried it before because of the crust, but I went for it at Kalani's graduation and I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, so to think about what some of those things are that we can make that are still, because I love key lime pie. My key lime, I mean, it's so good. And so to think about some things to make that don't have chocolate all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're...
Was it Easter that you made me the Snickers salad without the Snickers?
Oh,
you had sent Sage and home with some, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet.
Yep. You joined your family, and then Sagen came out and had dinner with us for Easter. And I made some of his favorite dishes and the Snickers. I gave him the choice for the salads between, and we call it salads because we're in the Midwest.
Yo.
The Snickers apple salad or the Oreo with the crushed Oreos and the vanilla pudding and Cool Whip. And he chose Snickers salad. And I know that you're not big into chocolate, and so I did just do a little part that didn't have those. So
that was really sweet of you. I had a good little giggle when I came home and you said I had my own.
Yep, you get your own salad, and then if you get mashed potatoes and gravy, then you're good to go, right?
Yo, I'll be content.
Yep. All right, well, thank you, Sydney, very much.
Yes, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Aw, Castaway and Rowdy did a great job of snoozing in the background. So is it just me, or did Sydney inspire you to make homemade jam? I don't know about you, but I'm going to first make the strawberry apricot just like she did because it's very delicious. So then I might venture out and try to find some choke cherries because I have childhood memories of choke cherry jam. So I'll do the strawberry apricot first and then try to do some choke cherries because she makes it sound so easy, and it's not an overwhelmingly large batch. It's not like it's going to take all day to do this. So I'm super excited, and I really just love that she's doing this at such a young age. I mean, she's 21, I'm 51, and I've never made jam. Hello. Thanks, Sydney. And the way that she talked about her grandma's Parmesan potatoes, yeah, it has me adding red potatoes to my grocery list. So I had fun sitting down with her, and I hope she'll join us again because we really need to come back and talk more about non-chocolate desserts. I can learn a lot from that. So thanks for listening. You can see photos from this episode. You can see Castaway and Rowdy and Sagen and Sydney and Sydney's family. Plus she took some cool pictures of when she was making the jam. And then those recipes are on randomsweets.com. So the photos and the recipes. And if you have just a few minutes, I would really love it if you would leave a short review in the app that you're listening to this podcast. It can be as simple as just writing a sentence or two about why you've enjoyed tuning in, or maybe share which is your favorite episode so far. Maybe if you have found helpful information, or if it's just entertaining, or maybe relatable in some way, just share a few thoughts about that. And if you're enjoying the show and want more episodes, and if you think other people probably do too, then go ahead and give it 5 stars too while you're there. I hope you subscribe and set up notifications so that you can get an alert when a new episode is available, because you will want to join me for a couple upcoming episodes with 2 South Dakota businesses, Sarah, Brian, and Lynn from Maderi Acres Greenhouse in Brookings, and Sarah and her mom and her sister from 80 Honey Farms in Bruce. Well, that's it for today. Sweet wishes.